1800 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Aisha Nayab. First, the headlines. Foreign Minister addressing the OIC Executive Committee meeting has called on international community to stop Israeli atrocities against civilian population in Gaza. In his opening remarks, the Saudi Foreign Minister said Israel is committing flagrant violations against the Palestinians. The Arab League has asked the UN Security Council to take actions against Israeli brutalities and bring to trial all Israeli officials responsible for massacre of Palestinians. 33 more Palestinians were martyred in overnight continued bombardment by Israeli fighters in Gaza, taking the death toll to 191 on 7th consecutive day. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All-Party Hurriyat Conference has urged the United Nations and the OIC to take an immediate action against the state terrorism of India in the occupied territory. In Afghanistan, the United States has completed its withdrawal from Kandahar airfield, the second largest military base in the country of its forces. And now the news in detail. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has called on the international community to protect Palestinians against the blatant and illegal use of force and flagrant violations of human rights by Israel. Addressing the virtual open-ended emergency meeting of the OIC Executive Committee hosted by Saudi Arabia, he urged the world community to urgently intervene to stop Israeli atrocities against civilian population in Gaza. He said the bombardment in Gaza must be stopped immediately. The minister said Israel's crimes against humanity should not escape accountability and there should be no impunity for Israelis' violation of international law, including the 4th Geneva Convention and the various human rights treaties. Talking about OIC's responsibilities, Shah Mahmood Qureshi said the Muslim Ummah must exhibit strong solidarity and support for their Palestinian brothers and sisters. He reiterated Pakistan's resolve to remain ready to join hands with other OIC countries in any move to stop the ongoing bloodshed and restore human dignity and human rights of the Palestinian people in the occupied territories. The minister reaffirmed Pakistan's abiding support for the Palestinian people in their just struggle to secure legitimate rights, particularly their inalienable right to self-determination. Earlier in his opening speech, the Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan said Israel is committing flagrant violations against the Palestinians. He said Saudi Arabia calls for an immediate end to Israeli escalation in Palestine. The Foreign Minister said, "We condemn Israeli takeover of Palestinian homes in East Jerusalem, which is a Palestinian land." He said Saudi Arabia categorically rejects the Israeli violations against the Palestinians and call for an immediate end to the Israeli escalation. For his part, Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki said Israel's practices are an assault on Arabs, Muslims and international norms. He stressed that the Palestinian people are subjected to an Israeli apartheid and they are being uprooted from their lands and rights. The Arab League has called upon the United Nations Security Council to take actions against Israeli brutalities and bring to trial all Israeli officials responsible for massacre of unarmed Palestinians. In a statement issued in Cairo, the Arab League held the Israel Occupation Authority fully responsible of war crimes against humanity. The United Nations Security Council is holding a meeting today to discuss the worsening violence and atrocities being committed by Israeli forces against unarmed Palestinians. The United Nations Security Council meeting proposed by Norway, Tunisia and China will discuss the situation publicly. In complete defiance and disregard to human rights and international law, the Israeli forces are continuing the barbaric and callous airstrike against unarmed Palestinians in Gaza and West Bank. At least 33 Palestinians, including 13 children, were martyred and many wounded in overnight bombardment in the Gaza Strip on 7th consecutive day and flattening at least 2 residential buildings. According to the Ministry of Health of Palestine, at least 191 people have been killed in Israeli raids on Gaza, including 52 children. The number of expected to rise as ambulance and civil defense teams continue to dig through the rubble of dozens of destroyed buildings. Meanwhile, protest demonstrations were also held in different cities of United States and in France against Israeli barbarism on armed Palestinian. French riot police fired tear gas and used water cannons in Paris as protesters supporting Palestinians defied a ban on marching in the French capital. Thousands of people marched peacefully in other cities of France and elsewhere in Europe, including in London, Rome, Brussels, and Madrid, to highlight the plight of Palestinians. On the other hand, protests were also held in different cities of United States. In Washington, D.C., hundreds took part in pro-Palestinian protest marching from the Washington Monument to the U.S. Capitol. Similarly, thousands of people rallied in Los Angeles in support of Palestinians. A demonstration was also held in New York. In San Francisco, a crowd banged drums and yelled Palestine will be free as they marched across the Mission District to Dolores Park, while pro-Palestinian demonstrations were held in Boston, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and some other U.S. cities. This is Radio Pakistan. Prime Minister Imran Khan has congratulated Special Assistant Dr. Sania Nishtar and ESA's team for achieving a milestone after the World Bank has listed ESA's emergency cash program among top 4 social protection interventions globally in terms of number of people covered. In a tweet, the Prime Minister congratulated the ESA's team for achieving this milestone and well-deserved international recognition. The World Bank report called ESA's program a living paper and a partnership effort. United Nations International Children Fund has provided medical treatment facilities to some 44,000 newborn at various Sikh newborn care centers in Pakistan. According to UNICEF Pakistan document, some 350,000 newborn were protected from umbilical cord infections with the use of chlorhexidine in 21 districts of Punjab, Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The document said capacity building was also provided in 5 hospitals by UNICEF Pakistan in Punjab and Sindh. United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees is seeking more than $900 million for the response to COVID-19, especially in poorer countries. According to a document released by the UNHCR, so far $469 million have been mainstreamed into current year, while $455 million are required for supplementary needs. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the APHC has urged the United Nations and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to take an immediate action against the state terrorism of India in the occupied territory. In a statement issued in Srinagar, the APHC Working Vice Chairman Ghulam Ahmed Gulzar said that the Kashmiris are living under the shadow of war, particularly after August 2019. He also strongly condemned the arrest of 2 sons of Muhammad Ashraf Sehrai and Maulana Sarjan Barkati and other freedom leaders and activists. Other Hurriyat leaders and organizations including Bilal Ahmed Siddiqui, Khwaja Firdaus and others in their separate statements said India could not suppress the ongoing liberation movement through arrest and harassment. The United States has completed its withdrawal from Kandahar airfield in southern Afghanistan, which was the second largest military base in the country for its forces. A spokesperson of the Afghan army in Kandahar said it was also the center of the biggest drone operation by U.S. Special Forces in Afghanistan. The cyclonic Tauktae in the Arabian Sea has intensified into a severe cyclonic storm and is likely to make a landfall at the Indian Gujarat by Tuesday. According to Pakistan Meteorological Department, the system with winds of 100 to 120 kmph, gusting to 140 kmph, is moving northwestward at the speed of 18 km. Meanwhile, the Sindh government in a meeting has declared emergency in all these districts and directed the concerned departments to take precautionary measures to meet any untoward situation in the view of cyclone. And now, weather. Partly cloudy weather is expected in the upper parts of the country with rain, wind, thunderstorm and few hailstorm in Kashmir, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Potohar region, South Punjab, northeast Balochistan and Gilgit-Baltistan during the next 24 hours. However, dry weather is expected somewhere else in the country. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletin on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.